I think Kingstone was actually a war zone in the 80s. Political parties were tied to gangs. There would be massive killings around election time. Did you witness anything?
I was in the midst of all of that, It was between the two major parties, the JLP and the PNP. The PNP was with Michael Manley, and the JLP was with Edward Seaga. And they led, the 1980 election was the most bloody election ever. High crime, death toll was really high. And, it was tough political times, there was shortage of food at the same time too, so yeah, I remember all of that as a kid growing up. If you wear one color, you couldn't be in one particular zone. If you wore another color, you couldn't be in the other zone. So tough times, those times.
Did that affect you at all as a kid? Just seeing how, brutal it was?
It taught me a lot. Taught me not to trust politicians. That's for sure. From an early age, I just had it in my mind to get out of the ghetto. A friend of mine, Josie Wales, said it to me years ago. It says, ghetto means get out. And I always believed that. So I've always strived to get myself out of the ghettos, of the garrisons.
Definitely. I know you moved to New York in 1986. Did the Shaggy name come before or after that?
The Shaggy name was a nickname from when I was in Jamaica because my hair was really, really shaggy.
Shaggy, yeah.
And they called me Shaggy. It's the Shaggy dog. And then I came to America and kind of got rid of the name because nobody knew me. And then I met one guy who knew me from Jamaica. I said, "Oh, Shaggy," and that was it. Everybody started calling me that again. And I hated the name for a long time until, I was watching, it was this movie that came out where they were talking about, I found out what shag meant in England, and I was like, oh, okay. Then I realized what it was, a shagadelic, baby. You know what I mean? So that became that whole vibe. And you started to realize that in England, shag meant something else. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is the coolest name ever. Yeah.
That's funny. How was it going to Flatbush, New York at 18? You're fresh adults in Brooklyn.
I mean, it was cool at that time because it was a culture shock coming into Brooklyn. I think the first thing that really locked me out was I went to a laundromat for the first time and my mom took me there and I was like, are we really going to wash our clothes here with this many people seeing our drawers? Because you have to, after you wash the drawers, you got to fold your drawers up and shit, and everybody's in there looking at your drawers. In Jamaica, you do laundry in the back of your yard. It's a bit more private, I couldn't believe that you'd fold your clothes in front of people. It was a bit of a culture shock to me. And, and just living in like an apartment style of living in Brooklyn at that time was a bit of a culture shock. But what was good about Brooklyn was it was a melting pot. You had the Trinidadians, you had the Haitians, you had the Dominicans, you had the Panamanians. It was a big cultural melting pot. And I really liked that. I was open to a lot of different cultures in Brooklyn. Brooklyn's a little changed now. It's more gentrified these days. It's a lot of juice bars and mocha shops.